I think maybe we are live. Yes, we are. So, good morning. I'm Christina Dilbo, Director of Communications for the Desert Southwest Conference. This is Tuesday Talks, and today we were scheduled to have a couple of people join us to talk about. One is Human Resources, Tricia Baker, Executive Director of Human Resources at the General Council on Finance and Administration for the United Methodist Church. Might be running a little bit late, so I'm going to move on to the next topic. And I'm going to share my screen for that. Just a second. DSCUMC.org. So I'm not sure why. There's different things going on with the calendar and um, people that are in charge of hosting different events. So I wanted to go over some things that are on the conference calendar real quick, so you're aware of what's what. So here we go. This is dscumc.org/events. And so if I just went to dscumc.org, I could go to news and events and then go to calendar. And the the default is to have this month view. Um, in October, I don't think there were any issues, but the very first item that I wanted to go over is actually in November, Multicultural Family Camp. The registration was closed, but we just reopened it for one more week because we knew of a couple families that hadn't registered yet. So if you haven't shared this already with your church, you still could. You could use the Facebook or Twitter, or I should say X, links to just share it on social real quick there's 1 week left to register for the Multicultural Family Camp at Mingus Mountain. It's November 1 through 3, and the registration form is here right on this page. Okay, and feel free to interrupt if you've got questions. I'm going to just zip through to the next items. And then another item that's coming up pretty quick on November 6th is orientation to ministry. And I wanted to mention this one because you might not be aware of what is orientation to ministry. Orientation to ministry is an event. I mean, it explains it here. It is a required event for certified candidacy, but it's a very information-packed event for people that are considering going into ordination. If they want to explore that path, or maybe they have decided already, this is a great first step because they'll learn about scholarships that are available, the network of support that's available, the different stages that are necessary for ordination, and yeah, you'll meet all the necessary contacts and what to do. So if there's someone at your church that has been thinking about, I don't know, I kind of think God's calling me to the ministry, definitely have them register for this orientation and ministry event on November 6th at noon. Typically, we also have one right around annual conference. So now you know what that one is. And when it comes up right after annual conference, you'll be able to refer people to register for that one. Okay, and then the next item, let me stop sharing real quick to see who else is here. Okay, the next item is about ERT. So first, let me give you the update. Let's see here. Okay, so maybe George Cushman's going to be able to join us. It turns out he had something else going on this morning, so he emailed me a quick update. Let me read to you some of that. Sorry, I was about to share and then I changed my mind. There we go. Share my screen. All right, so what's been going on with our ERT teams and how churches can support that effort? So UMCOR has partnered the Desert Southwest Conference with the North Georgia Conference, and our ERT team is registered with Inspiritus, which is like I don't know, it's an organization they're using to figure out who's coming and place people in different groups. Um, but so even though UMCOR partnered us with North Georgia Conference, our chairperson, George Cushman, Reverend George Cushman, he hasn't heard a response yet about when we can go ahead and deploy people. So he says right now we have about 12 people who are willing to come. And I know that they are doing a 1-to-1 ratio, which means they can, on their work teams, for every one person that is certified and trained, you can bring one person that isn't. I think that's how that works. An uncertified ERT with every certified ERT. So we can have more people go, but we really do need more certified people. So there is another training coming up. I mentioned it before. It's November 16th. It's a basic training for ERTs. It's at Green Valley UMC in Nevada. If your church isn't anywhere near there, don't worry. Tom Maddock has agreed to host another training event if the interest is there. There was one in the Phoenix-ish area in October that had to be canceled because we just didn't have enough people registered. So if your church has people saying like, man, I'd love to go over there and help out. I have skills or I don't have skills. I am trained or I'm not trained. I'll include Tom Maddox's contact information in there so you can let us know if if there's any interest for another training. Okay, so the other thing about it was that George has also reached out to the CDRC of the New Mexico conference, asking if they could use help responding to the floods in Roswell. And so this one's going to be, obviously, it's a lot closer. It seems like a much more doable service project for first-time people that are wanting to go and get involved. So hopefully we'll hear from them soon. But so that is another opportunity that's potentially coming down the pike. And so in the meantime, uh, your church can make donations through UMCOR for the hurricane relief and try to encourage people to sign up to become trained as an ERT. So what else? Okay, now here's another one. Definitely I need to share my screen for this one because this is a weird one. Okay, so that training is November 16th for that basic ERT. So here we are, January 2025. This is the Desert Southwest Conference calendar. And I wanted to make sure you are aware that the gathering, which is a clergy retreat, has been moved to January. Typically, I mean, for all the years that I've worked for the Desert Southwest Conference, the gathering has always been in February. And we did have it listed in February up until today when we heard from the people that are organizing this event that we had the wrong dates. It's actually in January for 2025, not this year, sorry. For 2025, it's in January. And the actual dates, even though on the month view, it looks like it's January 14th through the 18th. Something's glitchy right now with our website because the actual dates are January 14th through the 16th. So if you click on it, you'll see it is January 14th through the 16th. Starts January 14th, ends January 16th. But for some reason in the month view right now, it looks like it goes all the way through the 18th. So these two dates are not part of it. So be aware of that. Your pastors at your church are going to want to know about the gathering. We've already received questions about it. Dina Reed is normally one of the people that works closely with this event, and she has received some calls. So please be sure to share with your clergy that the dates for the 2025 gathering, the gathering, is January 14th through the 16th. Okay, so I'm not sure. I kind of think that maybe Kelly won't be able to make it after all today. So, and look at that, it's only 10 minutes into it. Let me make sure I covered everything that I had. Let's see, the gathering, the ERT update, the training, orientation to ministry. multicultural family camp. And well, what I can do is just share with you this page for the Human Resources Solutions from GCFA. I'll share this link with you. I'm not sure if I shared it in the invitation. So GCFA does offer HR solutions for the local church. And again, this is a not-for-profit organization. It's different from the ministry partners. You know, Home Depot obviously is a for-profit organization. Staples is, all of these are. And so GCFA worked to get like a special discount for our churches with all of these companies. But this, the Human Resources Solutions, this is provided by GCFA staff. So just like the IT support, they're not trying to make money off of your church. So if your church needs help with recruitment, if you need some training, if there's something that you're not really sure about how you're doing your HR stuff, as it says there, we can help. GCFA can help. So you can click on this link to call them today to ask more about it. I'm sure that Kelly's going to be joining us on the Kelly. No, Trisha. Sorry, Trisha Baker will join us on a different day. Somehow we got our wires crossed. So there will be an opportunity to hear from them on a Tuesday talk. But in the meantime, if you're curious, if you have a need, you will be able to contact them and ask them all your questions. So that's all I've got. Do either of you have anything from your church that you want to share? Nothing coming up. All right. Well, 12 minutes. I think could be a record for how short Tuesday Talks is. I hope this information is useful. If you have any questions oh, you know what? I did have one more thing, one real quick. So I had a request from a pastor, not a request, a question about their clergy email. Does the conference provided clergy email include or connect with Zoom? And so I didn't quite understand that question if they meant, can you use Zoom to schedule meetings directly into your Outlook? And I think that we can do that. I know we can do that for conference stuff, but it's a different domain. So I'm not 100% sure on that. I have to check in on that. But what I really think that the question was is if I have a clergy email account, does that mean I get a free Zoom account that's linked to it? And the answer is no. You can purchase a Zoom license for the year, but it's the calendar year. So you would be paying the same price right now, and we're, already end of October. It would be $120 for 2 months and a week. And so you might as well just wait till January to purchase. If you're purchasing for the first time, January, and you would be able to buy a license for $120. That's the large meeting, so that you can have up to 500 people, and it includes webinar for up to 500 people and free online storage. So that's really the best deal that I've ever heard of. And you can do that by going to dscumc.org/Zoom. You can have as many Zoom licenses as your church needs, but it is for ministry only. So if you got your own company, you can't, we wouldn't know how, but, it's just for ministry. We can guarantee that deal for Desert Southwest Conference Ministry. Alrighty, that's it then. Thank you for joining.